Well, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this Pierce County Council special meeting. It is May 3rd, 2023. The time is approximately 6:02 p.m. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Campbell.
Here.
Councilmember Kruger.
Here.
Councilmember Denson.
Here.
Councilmember Herrera.
Excused.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Here.
Councilmember Morrell.
Here.
Councilmember Mello.
Here.
You have 6 members present.
We have 6 members present and a quorum. Thank you. Item number 3 is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. The flag is behind me. I will ask everyone to please rise and for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by Councilmember Morrell, to be followed by a moment of silence in tribute to our men and women in the military.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It is so great to be in the city of Buckley and at White River High School for our second in-district meeting of the year. This is a real thrill for the council to be able to get out of downtown Tacoma and to get out into the many communities throughout Pierce County. And as tradition with these in-district meetings, it is great to be able to hand the gavel over to the member whose district we're in. So I'm going to hand the gavel over to Councilmember Morrell, who will chair the rest of our meeting. Chair Morrell.
Thank you, Chair Mello. Yes, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to get out into the district. And what I'd like to do is introduce staff that is here. And we'll start with Brian.
Hi, I'm Brian. I'm the Communications Manager of the Pierce County Council.
I'm Mary Grace, and I am the Assistant Clerk to the Pierce County Council.
Audrey Persons, Associate Clerk.
Hi, I'm Susan Long, and I serve as the council's legal advisor.
And I think that is all of our staff here. We do have someone from the council district, or excuse me, the exec's office here. Alice? And we do have someone who's really important in just making my life wonderful. And that is... I could be here. Okay, well, you told me you wouldn't do that, Martin. Is my council assistant, Judy Hurley, in the back, and she is the one who puts everything together, makes my life easy. A little bit of history. She has been part of my corporate life. She ran the offices of my business for 25 years. And so I was thrilled when she decided to join me at the council and has made, there again, my life real easy. And she sets all these extra activities up. And so she's the one who handles all the details. And I greatly, greatly appreciate that. So thank you. Okay. The other tradition that we have is when we go out in the in-district meetings, no matter where we are, we have the council members introduce themselves and explain the district that they represent. So we'll start at the end down there with Councilmember Kruger.
Thank you, Chair. And I'll agree with Judy. She is his rock. When I became a drainage commissioner, she was already one, and she helped me navigate that system when I was in it. So anyway, I am Councilmember Amy Kruver. I represent Council District 3, and I abut this district. I have south of 304th, so I have Kapowson Lake, and on out through Mount Rainier, and then I go back west through Eatonville, McKenna, up to Roy, over to Spanaway. I've got Graham and Frederickson, and over to 176th and Meridian. And Councilmember Morrell has the east side of Meridian going down to 264th. So I have that part of Mount Rainier, and it's a very beautiful territory, just like here. Thank you, Chair.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Janie Hitchin, and I have the pleasure of serving District 6, which is DuPont, Steilacoom, and Lakewood. I also represent Joint Base Lewis-McChord and 3 islands. There's Anderson, Ketron, and McNeil Island, and where I live, half of Parkland, arguably the best half of Parkland.
Marty Campbell, it's an honor to serve on District 5, which is right in the heart of Pierce County, right in the middle. It has the better half of Parkland. Summit, Waller, Clover Creek, Collins, Riverside neighborhoods, the city of Fife, the communities of Fife Heights, Browns Point, Dash Point, Northeast Tacoma, Port of Tacoma, a little bit of downtown, south end of Tacoma, and the east side of Tacoma where I live. Thank you.
Thank you again. It's great to be with everybody. My name is Ryan Mello, and I serve in District 4, which represents the other part of East Tacoma that Councilmember Campbell does not live on, and also represent downtown Tacoma, Hilltop, Central Tacoma, all of South Tacoma, and then also the communities of University Place and Fircrest. It's great to be here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robin Denson. I represent District 7. I'm the newest council member. I'm loving my time and enjoying getting to know all the council members and also exploring all around the county. It was a beautiful, beautiful drive out here. So I represent North Tacoma, part of West Tacoma, and then everything west of the Narrows Bridge. So couldn't get any further from here. Gig Harbor, Fox Island, and the Key Peninsula. So it's lovely to be here, and thank you for hosting us.
Great. And I am Dave Morrell, and obviously I represent District 1. And District 1 takes in half of South Hill and runs out towards Graham, over the hill down into the Ording Valley, and takes in South Prairie, and then Wilkeson, Carbonado, and then up to the Carbon River. And then I do, on the other side, I go to all the way to the Sumner city limits and then go up the hill. So I got Bonnie Lake. I've got Lake Tapps. I actually have part of Auburn in my district. And then I run all the way to Buckley and then over the hill to Greenwater and then end up at Crystal Mountain. So those are kind of the areas. It's really a blend of suburban and rural areas, like Councilmember Kruver. It's a very geographically, it's a big district to cover. So that's kind of the explanation of how everyone, and then absent tonight is Councilmember Herrera. He is also a new member to the council, and he has Edgewood and Puyallup in Sumner area in his district. So with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Long to explain why we are here.
All right, thank you. The reason we are here tonight is because the Pierce County Charter provides that the council shall hold at least one evening meeting in each of the 7 districts each year. And so tonight we are here in District 1 for that evening meeting.
Okay. Short and sweet. I like that. Well, we, since we are doing in district, usually we don't have too much business to do, so this is kind of just really a get-together of community so that people can come out and actually see us in person and ask questions and interact with us. So, but we do have part of an agenda here, and I will, since there is no agenda, we don't have to worry about that. There is no consent agenda. We don't have to worry about that, which moves us to section 6, and is...
Susan's asking us to approve the agenda.
Picky. I've been advised by legal counsel that I have to approve the agenda that doesn't exist here. So I will enter, is there any concerns, corrections on the agenda?
Concerns?
Okay, the agenda will stand as approved. Okay, thank you. And again, no consent agenda, so we don't have to worry about that. Item number 6, messages from the executive judge prosecuting attorney. I do not see the exec. He did not sneak in. So we will move on. And we have one item on business here, which is a proclamation. So before us is proposal number R2023-63. We'll entertain a motion, and then we'll read it into the record.
Chair Morrell, I move adoption of Resolution 2023-63.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Will the clerk please read the title into the record?
Proposal number R 2023-63, a resolution of the Pierce County Council proclaiming May 3rd, 2023 as Pierce County Schools Appreciation Day in Pierce County, Washington.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. And then we have the privilege of Audrey Spencer to read the proclamation. And Audrey is the White River High School Daffodil Princess. So, yep.
Good. Whereas Pierce County is home to 16 school districts, including some of the highest performing schools, with several receiving national recognition for school improvement, and whereas Pierce County schools serve over 135,000 students in one of the most economically, geographically, politically, racially, and culturally diverse counties in Washington state, and whereas Pierce County school districts provide exceptional programs such as advanced placement and international baccalaureate programs, career and technical education programs, the Pierce County Skills Center, and dozens of specialty and magnet programs to create unprecedented learning opportunities for all students. And whereas Pierce County schools are leaders in Washington when it comes to supporting the social, emotional, and mental health needs of their students, providing opportunities for kids to discover lifelong passions in areas such as music, theater, and sports, which help to educate the whole child. And whereas school facilities are an invaluable community resource in Pierce County, whose theaters, fields, gymnasiums, classrooms, and libraries are available to our community for sporting events, concerts, drama productions, community gatherings, charity events, government meetings, religious gatherings, camps, and adult learning classes. And whereas schools serve as a lifeline to families and a conduit for a range of services, including housing assistance, social services, basic health services, food justice, transportation, and access to wraparound services, particularly in rural areas of Pierce County that lack basic services. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Pierce County Council that Pierce County schools are recognized and appreciated as critically important strategic partners as we work together to meet the needs of the students, families, and communities of Pierce County, Washington.
Thank you, Audrey. Excellent. And then we have receiving the proclamation from the Sumner Bonnie Lake School District, Dr. Tu Ament, and from the White River School District, Assistant Superintendent Dr. Heather McMullen.
Thank you. I was ready with some research. Community school partnerships increase the sense of belonging for kids, staff, and community members, and also increase learning. And this proclamation just mirrors that, and we thank you very much for your recognition and appreciation.
I'd just also like to just acknowledge the council for the support and leadership for the last 3 years. We, all the school districts have been through a lot with the pandemic and then coming back, and it was invaluable. So thank you for your support and continued support and the acknowledgement tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. You can sit down for a moment, and then we'll get pictures afterwards. Okay. This is a public meeting, so if anyone wants to comment on the proclamation, they can step forward and do it. Doesn't mean you have to. There's no pressure. Seeing none moving forward at a fast pace, then we will move to Zoom and see if there's, anyone online that would like to make comment on the proclamation.
For any member of the public wishing to speak, you can press the raise hand icon on Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. There are no hands raised.
Okay, excellent. Okay, then we will bring it back to the council. Is there any comments from the council members pertaining to the proclamation? Councilmember Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. You may not know this about me. Prior to running for office, I was a high school science teacher. I was teaching during the pandemic and know just how incredibly hard it was for all of our school districts and the youth and the families they were trying to support. So to every school in our county that has done that really hard work, that really intentional work of trying to figure out the balance between support, keeping our kids alive and healthy, and still wanting them to learn. And that was a really hard balance to find. Thank you for that work. I know that we are not out of it. We are continuing to work on how do we help our youth and the families rebound and get back to maybe even better than when we went into the pandemic. That's my goal as we move forward. So really appreciate my understanding this was put together by some students. Is that accurate? Did I hear a... So thank you for students taking this up and going, hey, we want to acknowledge the work of all of our schools and the work they're doing. So appreciate you inviting us, and love the book display at the library. I want to go take some pictures and see if I can figure out which books they are, by the way. The ones that are wrapped up where you don't know the title, I would totally have wanted to check those out. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Campbell.
Thank you. Audrey, right? Are you busy Tuesdays, 3 o'clock? Could you come read all our proclamations? That was excellent. Thank you. Do appreciate you and the students bringing that forward, and for the others for standing up and sharing with us. We know with the so many school districts across our state, and they each have different set of challenges and different opportunities. But day in, day out, every time I meet with them, I see them working to rise up to the challenges that they face with students every day. And so deeply appreciative of all the work that our school districts do to face the many challenges in many parts of our community. They are the social structure. They are the mayors of their community. And so they hold together so much fabric and do so much work that goes unseen that when we traditionally think of school, what we have to deal with today is so different. And so greatly appreciative. Thank you, Chair.
Are there any other comments from any other council members? Councilmember Denson.
Yes, I'll just say a few words because at the other end of the spectrum from Councilmember Hitchin, I'm the parent of 2 high school students. So I really appreciate the schools. And I know what you all have been through. And I really appreciate that the kids are back in school now and starting to reform a lot of those social interactions that are so important. My kids struggled as well and continue. We're working through some things. I have a senior, and we're going to make it, I think. But it's been a challenge, and I know a lot of my friends have had challenges as well with their children, just working through the craziness of the last couple of years. So we really appreciate the dedication of our educators. You guys are just amazing. I think it's, being a teacher or being an administrator it's got to be one of the hardest jobs. So thank you for all you do, whoever out in the audience is an educator. And thank you for the work that your students did to put together this proclamation. That's really impressive. And thank you to Councilmember Morrell for arranging all of that. Very, very special. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. With that, yes, Councilmember Denson has also a new first. She has a new driver on the road. And he does have a pretty sweet ride.
Yeah, it's not working right now. In our garage. He had to buy like a 22-year-old car, right? Which is great, but yeah, now it's plugged into a battery charger.
Oh boy, love it. Okay. I will close with the comments that, I love the work of our school districts, what they do. It's a lot different than when I went through high school, but I think the same passion, the same love for instilling in students a path forward, no matter what that path looks like, and just the acknowledgement within one of the whereases that I think is really important, especially to schools in rural areas that don't have a lot of services. And the whereas that I appreciate is schools serve as the lifeline to families and a conduit for a range of services, including housing assistance, social service, basic health services, food justice, transportation, and access to wraparound services, particularly in a rural area of Pierce County that lacks a lot of just basic services compared to our suburban and our urban areas. And yeah, you pretty much have to be almost everything to everyone. It does create a lot of challenges, but from what I have seen, both in the school districts, that whether it be Sumner Bonnie Lake, whether it be White River, everyone rises to the challenge with very little complaining. They have a duty to do, and they do it. And I know sitting in this library with the exec many times during the pandemic with staff just going, how do we get our kids back? How do we get through this? What kind of help do you need? What kind of data points do you need from us to convince those that we can open up our programs in our schools to help our kids? So I appreciate that. And so I will close discussion on this and have Ms. Pearson call for the roll.
Councilmember Cruver. Aye. Councilmember Denson.
Aye.
Councilmember Hitchin.
Aye.
Councilmember Morrell.
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Councilmember Mello.
Aye.
The result of the roll call vote is 6 ayes and 0 nays.
Okay, by a 6-0 vote, resolution number R 2023-63 is approved. Thank you. Okay, we'd like to take a moment to take a picture with
Yeah, well, I guess it's just not getting votes, so I didn't even think about it. Yeah, it's like, That's kind of a twist in the district meetings.
Yeah. We'll remember that in the future.
I didn't think about it until you started the roll call. So, sorry.
That's okay.
Mine will make it on Facebook faster. 2, 3. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you for everyone's participation in that proclamation. We now have Section 8, which is ordinance. We don't have any ordinance. So we don't have any resolutions. So I would like to change up the agenda a little bit and have the Executive Dan Meyer come up and address the audience, and appreciate him coming out on a beautiful evening.
Thank you very much, Chair Morrell. And for the record, Bruce Danmeyer, I have the privilege of serving the people of Pierce County as their executive. It is great to be with you. Last time I testified before you in an in-district meeting in Fife, I was talking about how my family history goes back to 1905 in Fife. My history doesn't go back that far here, but it does go back 22 years with Superintendent Harrison, because 22 years ago, neither of us had gray hair. I might have had some gray hair. He didn't. He was a relatively young 7th grade teacher, fresh out of the Marine Corps, at a time when my oldest son was in 7th grade. And I think that is particularly significant. I can remember Howard Dempsey, who was my 7th grade teacher, and Howard ignited a love of schooling and performing and excellence in me that has served me to this day. And Scott Harrison did that for my son, Brent Danmeyer. So thank you very much, Scott, for doing that. You did it, but... Well, no. It is so, and it is exciting to be here. Because I think we see a lot of strong leadership out of the White River School District, particularly in the pandemic with Janelle Keating-Hambley before Scott and Scott, as they were a team. I can remember, as the chair pointed out, the number of times we were up here, and I got to see them in action, got to see how they were addressing precautions. And what really stood out when you were here was their absolute passion and care for their students. And it was about their education, but it was more than that. It was about the well-being of their students, and they knew that if they weren't there, some of those students would have some challenges. And just to see that, and you can see it in their eyes, and you can see it in their interaction with their students and the stories. It was exactly what we want. And I love the fact that they were, candidly, I think of all of our school districts, White River was at the forefront of getting kids back to school in person in a safe way, because that was the best thing for the students and the best thing for the community, as it turned out. So thank you to the White River School District leadership for doing that. And that benefited all the students, ultimately benefited all the students in our community. It's also great to see former Mayor Pugh and former Council Member Shabro in the audience. That's fantastic. Good to see you. The other thing this is my second time in Buckley in 2 days. Yeah, I know, you're shocked. You're shocked. Yesterday, I was, as part of Bike Month, I was riding the Foothills Trail with our senior trails planner Brianne Blackburn and senior transportation planner Sean Phelps. So, and we filmed it by starting in Ording and riding our bikes all the way up and all the way back. And I tell folks that my favorite park in Pierce County is the Foothills Trail, which for those of you, we consider that a linear park. And my favorite section on the Foothills Trail is the new section, both for the bridges and the ability to get out and see. That is so peaceful. And I love riding the pin pile bridges, but I really love the curved trestle bridge. So that was very fun to do and to ride that back. I know Mayor Pugh rides that, former Mayor Pugh rides that frequently as well. So that was very fun. And I know that the chair rides that a lot. I've heard he wants it renamed District 1 Trail. If he does that, I'd have to veto that just to do. We want to keep it broad. But it is great. And then just to close, it was interesting to me, for some of the members were on, we had a meeting gathered all the mayors together regarding what's called the Blake decision. That we'll talk more about that later. That's not the issue. But what was exciting to me was I did not know that Bonnie Lake had a therapeutic court until they were on the meeting today. So I appreciated learning that about our Bonnie Lake community. That's a court that is used to oftentimes when people are involved, they're involved with crime, but probably the root of their crime might be addiction or mental health issues. That's kind of what's causing the crime. And if you don't address the mental health or addiction issue, you're not really solving anything. So that's what therapeutic courts do. So I was very excited to see that Bonnie Lake had done that. So with that, Mr. Chair, those are my introductory comments. It is great to be in the 1st District, great to be keeping it rural.
Definitely keeping it rural. Well, thank you. We appreciate you making the big drive. And so you didn't ride your bicycle built for two yesterday?
No, I did not. I don't think neither Sean nor Brianne wanted to ride behind me on my tandem. So.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Any comments, questions from any of the council? Here's your chance. He's up there. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, we are going to move into other business, and what I'd like to do right now is introduce Cody Motherhead, who is the principal of White River High School, and also if there's any, I'll let you just handle it.
All righty. Thank you and welcome Pierce County Council to White River High School. My name is Cody Mothershed and I get to be the principal here. We have just over 1,200 students that we serve. Excuse me. And as you walked in, it is a beautiful campus that we get to come every day to learn, and our students come in. And one of the things when we here at White River High School and White River School District, we really strive to provide opportunities and focus on kids. And one of the things tonight, you're going to hear many different opportunities that our students have here, and you're actually going to hear from a couple of our students too. Before I get started to introduce you to Audrey again and let her give a little bit of information about White River High School, I want to take an opportunity to just recognize White River High School. We are a continuing school of a national model professional learning community school. And so professional learning community is the organization structure of our collaborative teams that our teachers work together that really focus on student learning and ensuring student learning. And ultimately through that work and working to support our students to make sure they have everything that they need to be successful, we're able to achieve the last 3 years of an on-time graduation rate of over 96%. One of the things that I'm very proud of is just the opportunities that we provide our students, whether it's through career and technical education, whether it's through college and high school, whether it's through AP or our general education. We really strive to prepare our kids for success. And I want to close by, we have a motto here in the White River School District is it good enough for my own child? And as leaders and as staff in the White River School District, we have our own children, and I have a sign above in my office, and it reminds every decision that we make, is this good enough for my own child? Because if it's not good enough for my own child, why is it good enough for the neighbor's child? Why is it good enough for someone else's child? And we take that to heart, and I'm proud to have our kids here and proud of all of our staff here. So I would like to welcome Audrey back up to say a few words about White River High School.
All right, hello again. I'll actually introduce myself this time. I'm Audrey Spencer. I'm a senior here at White River High School. I've only been in the White River School District for about 2 years now. I started here at the beginning of my junior year. I had lived in Maple Valley before and went to Tahoma High School there, but I moved to the White River School District, started there at the beginning of my junior year, and that was right in the middle of COVID. We had just come back in person, super crazy. But one of the first things I remember about coming to the school was walking in and walking through the halls and having people wave at me that I'd never seen before. People here are just literally the kindest people I've ever met, the most outgoing, most willing to do whatever it takes to help you or to make your day better. So that's a huge thing here in the Buckley community and just in White River High School. But when it comes to opportunities here, there's so many clubs, there's so many ways to get involved with academic help. We have something called Hornet Time, which is 30 minutes almost every day dedicated to where you just go and you sit in a teacher's classroom where you need help and they just help you every day. And you can just go to whichever class you need to get that help, and it's just one of the greatest things. We have so many clubs, I'm part of National Honor Society, I'm on the ASB Executive Board, I'm the Daffodil Princess for our school, what else do I do? I'm the president of our sign language club, which is super cool as well. There's just so many different ways to get involved, and so many ways for you to just be part of this community. White River provides so much for our students in terms of getting them help with whatever they need, whether that's food, whether that's finding scholarships. We have an amazing career counselor. Her name's Miss Lindner. I meet with her at least a couple times a week to go over scholarships and college and loans and things. And the fact that she's just there, that is her entire job, is to help students with college and things like that. We also have CTE programs where people who aren't going to college can find what they're into and get into that and know what they're doing after high school. There's just so much here at White River, and the kindness is just off the charts. So I just love it here.
Thank you, Audrey. And again, thank you, Council, for coming out to White River High School. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here and host you on our campus. What I would like to do now is kind of shift in and let you hear from one of our students. And I want to introduce our Director of College and Career Ready, Mrs. Amy Miller, who is going to introduce our student speaker. Sorry, it's going to change a little bit on the agenda, so.
Thank you. We like to mix it up a little bit. So it's my honor tonight to introduce to you a young man who is a sophomore here at White River High School. He is an FFA officer and will be competing next week at the Washington State FFA Convention in Kennewick, Washington. And I think you're going to be really moved by his speech. It's a prepared public speech, so it's 6 to 8 minutes. And then he'll be questioned by a panel of judges at the state convention. But I think just the purpose and the meaning behind the speech you're going to hear tonight is impactful. So with no further ado, I'm going to introduce Nathaniel Gilbert. And its title of his speech is Back on Track. And then I'll say a few words.
The citizens of our country are facing a significant health risk right now. And although it's leading to the death of hundreds of thousands of innocent lives every year, not many people are talking about it. Today, I'm going to be focusing on an area of our lives that often gets classified as taboo or unimportant. I'm going to be focusing on the mental health of our country. More specifically, how it's rapidly declining and facing dangers like never before due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I know that this isn't a fun or uplifting topic to hear about, but it is necessary. I've struggled with depression and social anxiety ever since I was in middle school, and throughout the pandemic, my mental health dropped like never before. It got to the point where it felt like waking up every day was a chore, and all I could think about is how long it would be before I could go to sleep again. It felt like life itself was an unmanageable task. So what changed? How did I go from someone who is so filled with self-doubt and anxiety to the person I am today? The person who's able to stand before all of you and share a speech on a very personal topic. My name is Nathaniel Gilbert with the White River FFA, and today I'm going to share with you how FFA has helped us pick our lives back up after the COVID-19 pandemic, and how I know the FFA is key to getting my generation back to achieving their potential after such hard times through building relationships, sparking hope, and strengthening communities. Today, I'm going to share with you the secret I found on how to get back on track. When in-person schools started to open again, the change in the school's environment was evident. Kids weren't as friendly, and watching as teachers did everything they possibly could to get students to engage, with the response being a class lacking motivation and spirit was, in simple terms, sad. And I understood perfectly. We had been stripped away from society for around a year and a half. We were being bombarded daily with more and more depressing news of death rates and crises. How could we be expected to be happy when everything around us was painful and sad? This was around the time I went to my first FFA meeting, and I was instantly reminded that we didn't have to feel this way. There are people out there who strive for the same connection we'd all been lacking. The first way that FFA can help improve the mental health of our youth is by helping them meet new people. Whether it's through chapter meetings or district events, every FFA gathering opens the door to making new friends. At the very first chapter meeting I ever went to, I sat down next to someone that I barely knew at the time. I recognized her from my 6th period English class, but I barely even knew her name. Today, this person is one of my closest friends, along with several other students I've met through FFA. As humans, social connection is crucial to our development. FFA has helped provide me with this necessary connection, and I know that this connection will play a crucial role in changing the mental health of teenagers across the country. My second way that FFA can help skyrocket the mental health of our youth is by helping them find new interests. The COVID-19 pandemic changed so many things for so many people. One of these things was taking away interests that were loved by so many people. Just give me a second. My brain is like reading through like a mental teleprompter. And it just froze. Thank you. It'll get there, I promise. Yeah, I'll just make it up as I go.
Roll with it, Nathan.
Thank you. When it came to getting out of my comfort zone and entering competitions, FFA helped me find new interest. When it came to getting involved and contributing to the world of agriculture, FFA helped me find new interest. When it came to getting out of my bed every morning and seeing the hope in my life, FFA helped me find new interest. FFA sparked new excitement in every aspect of my life. Before, I would ask, what's the point? As an excuse to not try in life, but through FFA, I've been able to find the point. The point is to help others who are facing the same issues I once faced, to be an advocate in agriculture and understand its true importance, to live the life that I know I'm capable of living, and not the one that has been plagued with depression. By expanding awareness of the FFA, I know that we'd be able to help so many other kids like me. I know that they'd find new hope in their life and help them to see that there is a place for them. In addition, by increasing our membership, we can help countless others who aren't FFA members, because my final way that FFA can help improve the mental health of our youth is by encouraging them to spread positivity to other people in their community. The COVID-19 pandemic did not just impact the lives of high school students. Another group of people who were impacted are kids. As you may know, kids love people. They strive for the same connection many others do. But being stripped away from this connection in the very early stages of their development negatively impacts their academics. A 2022 study published by Brown University provides evidence of a significant decline in overall standardized test scores in elementary school students since the pandemic. This decline demonstrates the undeniable struggles of the next generation of this country. FFA holds a competition called Farm for Kids, which I participated in this school year. In this competition, our chapter created a lesson plan activity for fourth graders in our local elementary school. The lesson plan activity went well, but what unexpectedly stood out to me was the look on the students' faces throughout the entire class period. As we were helping them with their activity, their smiles lit up the room. They found joy in something as simple as analyzing bugs with a group of high school students. As we were leaving, multiple students ran up to us and gave us hugs, and the joy they felt was contagious. Just thinking about the impact we made in their day still sticks with me, and it's likely that it'll stick with them as well. The group of FFA kids that made their day just a little bit better. More FFA events, such as our chapter's FFA blood drive, our winter giving tree, and our various competitions and activities have the ability to positively impact the lives of many people. One member can change countless lives. I want you to remember the root of the speech. So many people out there are struggling right now. Some people feel like they have no hope in life, and like their situation is never going to get better. In the time that I've spent giving the speech, nearly 15 adults have attempted to take their own lives. At least one of these people will likely die from their attempt. This isn't something to glance over. Through FFA, we have the power to make a difference. We have the power to help this generation and this country get back on track. And although FFA can't single-handedly save our generation, it can be an effective tool in providing a source of hope to kids across the country. Through FFA, these kids might just be given amazing opportunities. They might meet new friends, become agricultural advocates, and above all, be restored in their mental health just like I was last year. This is a message that I know needs to get out to people. And through FFA, I've been given the platform and the voice to spread it. Together, let's spread this opportunity to others my age, encourage them to listen to our voices, and in turn, empower them to find their own. Thank you.
I think I should have took the opportunity to speak before Nate did. Thank you, Nathaniel. We really appreciate you taking the time to spread your message to everyone. We all know that it's an important topic right now and often hard to talk about, and you do it so eloquently. So good luck next week. All right. Cody introduced me. I'm Amy Miller. I am the Director of College and Career Readiness here in the White River School District. I've been with the White River School District, I think, for 22 years, and in education for 25. All of my time in career and technical education. First as an agriculture science teacher and FFA advisor, and then as the CT coordinator, and now the Director of College and Career Readiness here in the White River School District. We have a pretty special school district, and we're pretty lucky all the support and opportunities that we have for kids. And I just want to take a few minutes. I know we gave Nathaniel the floor, and he probably says it way better than an adult standing up here. But I just want to talk about a few of the programs we have here in our career and tech ed program, our career and tech ed programs, as well as some of the opportunities that students have. I had a presentation, and it doesn't work as well when we're doing it on the TV, so I'm just going to go over a few things, and then if there's any questions, please feel free to ask me. The programs that we have here at the White River School District include our Ag and Natural Resources. We have American Sign Language, our Automotive Technology, Business and Marketing, Family and Consumer Sciences, who is our culinary department that did the wonderful desserts that are here tonight. Our graphic design, we have health sciences, manufacturing and construction, photography, STEM, and video productions. For a 2A school of about 1,200, that's a lot of pretty cool opportunities for kids. So I thank Dr. Harrison and the support of our school board for giving those opportunities and allowing us to continue to expand those programs. One of the goals that we've really had is expanding the opportunities for industry recognized credentials, as well as dual credit and work-based learning opportunities. We have now over 21 industry recognized credentials that are being offered in different classes, from SP2 safety programs to our all 10 ASC certifications in our automotive programs, from CPR, bloodborne pathogens, food handlers permits, Core Plus with Boeing and the Boeing partnerships, as well as different Adobe certifications, EverFi, which is for financial literacy, drone certification for students, and then recently we purchased a forklift, and students are getting the opportunity to become forklift certified and can leave and get a job with pretty good wages in that industry. We also offer over 35 end-of-course certificates. Students get the opportunity to earn what we call a precision exam. And in over 35 CT courses, at the end of that class, they can take it's not industry recognized credential, but it's an industry recognized certificate where students can take that for employment, and it shows the skills that they have been proficient in that class, and be able to identify that when they enter that workplace, they would be sufficiently adequate to start in those positions. But beyond that, we also have over 35 classes that are articulated with community and technical colleges in our area, including Clover Park, Bates, Pierce, and more recently Walla Walla Community College for our turf program, and then also Seattle Central for our ASL program. Last year, at the end of the year, we had over 585 courses where students had registered. We are currently over 700 classes where students have registered for dual credit. And if by average, say this is low average, that's about 3 credits a class. Students have the opportunity to earn over 2,100 credits just in our current tech ed classes here at the high school. I think that what I'm most proud of, if I think of our current tech ed programs, is the opportunities that students have not only here in the high school to go straight into employment, but to advance themselves at college. Many students are starting in a technical field and then moving to either a technical college or a university level where they can then expand their knowledge, which I think keeping those doors open, as Cody said, one of our mottos here is it good enough for our kids? I too have 2 children in the school district, one that's a senior, and we're gonna make it, and an 8th grader. And whenever we're looking at our programs and thinking about the expansion and what can we do, I think of both my children, and both are on 2 different tracks. But if it's good enough for mine, then we know that it's good enough for everyone, right? Like, we want everyone's child to have that opportunity. So with that, that's kind of in a nutshell what our programs are. If you have any questions, I would entertain them as well.
Any questions from any of the council? Councilmember Denson.
Thank you, Chair Morrell. I don't have questions. I'm just so impressed. I'm on the CTE advisory board for our school district, and it's so important, but I guess this is on TV, so I shouldn't say this. You guys are way further along than we are, and it's so important no matter what a child's path is, I think, that you're giving them marketable skills, because you never know, and having a living wage job is important. But if they decide to go to college at some point, I mean, they can pay their way instead of working at fast food. Maybe they do welding, or they've got good marketable skills to either fall back on or build a career out of any way they like. I mean, the opportunities are amazing, and there's such a skills gap in this country, and we've known that for so long. So not only are you helping these students, but you're helping our economy and you're helping our country. And so thank you so much for all you do, and for your innovative thinking and looking for different opportunities for kids. And I wish my son was in the auto mechanic class. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Cody's going to speak more to our college and career readiness as we prepare all kids.
All right. Real quick, I want to take a step back because I skipped over something. I want to recognize our students that we had playing the saxophones as you came in. So we had 4 of our senior band members, and they are in the back there. A couple of them have been. So I just want to recognize. Then we have our senior saxophone quartet, we call them. So we have Stephen Blankenship, if we can, right here. We have Jakin Keel. Right here, we have Megan Neal and Maggie James who have left. So if we can just give them a round of applause for their music. Thank you, guys. One of the things I want to just highlight too is just our strong music program. We have a very successful choir program that go out to competitions across the state, and they always achieves one of the highest ratings there. And then we also, in our band, a few years ago, our band actually went back and performed at Carnegie Hall. And a year ago, they went back and performed in competitions back in New Orleans and did very well too. We have a very successful music program. And then again, I want to highlight our culinary students. Our culinary 2 and our culinary 3 students are the ones that made the desserts tonight. And so I just want to make sure I recognize them. As Mrs. Miller was talking about through CTE and the opportunities that we provide kids, one of the goals here at White River High School that we have is, and we strive for, is every kid leaves White River High School college and career ready. What does that mean? If you ask what does college and career ready mean, it can mean a variety of things for, depending on who you talk to. For us here, we want every student to leave with at least one dual credit where they have already earned a college credit, and they have one career certification through CTE. So whatever path that they choose to go on, they have a head start on. And through the dual credit opportunities that we have here, I want to highlight a little bit. Through CTE, Amy talked about dual credit through CTE that students can earn. We have also 16 AP courses that we offer here that students can take starting their sophomore year. We are in the middle of AP exams, so that's why one of the reasons we don't have as many kids they denied saying, you know, I need to stay home and study for my AP exam, as we have AP Hug and AP Seminar tomorrow. Oh, and AP Stats, yes. So we have 3 AP tests going on tomorrow. So the next 2 weeks here, our students have been taking several AP exams. Another opportunity that we have for dual credit is college and high school. So we have a partnership through Central Washington University and Eastern Washington University where students can earn college credit while taking the class here. There is a minimal fee that students have to pay, but it is at a highly reduced rate. They get it for like an 80% discount for it, and they earn a college transcript. So when they take and earn college credit, they will get a Central Washington transcript or an Eastern Washington transcript, which then will be able to transfer to a university that they choose. So really trying to provide opportunities for students, whether they are going the career pathway or the university college pathway. And as Amy said, one thing as principal I'm very proud of is the support of our board and the support of Dr. Harrison and Dr. McMullen. Just with the CTE programs, and we survey our kids all the time and say, what are your interests? What can we provide here for you? And that's why we, as many schools are closing CTE programs, we keep on expanding because our kids need it, and our kids value the career and technical education courses. So thank you for the opportunity to share some things about White River High School, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So.
Any questions of any council members? Oh, of course. Councilmember Hitchin.
Do you have an FRC team?
FRC. First Robotics.
At the middle school level, we have a robotics team. Eden Plot has a First Robotics at the high school level. We have done Vex Robotics through
Skills USA?
No.
It's okay. Okay. Thank you. Yep. You're doing wonderful work. I just was a robotics coach, so I just wanted to check, and I wanted to know what the name was.
Yep. So, all right. So, okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Principal Mothershed. We appreciate your warm, friendly welcome. I did attend the Career Opportunity Night a few months back, and I couldn't believe how many vendors were out here interacting with the students and their parents for a career night. I was really impressed as how well that was put together. So with that, we will move on to our next item, which is item number 5, the superintendent message. Dr. Scott Harrison?
Councilmember Morrell, thank you. Members of the Pierce County Council, I want to say how much I appreciate your leadership and your service to this community. Executive Dan Meyer, you forgot the middle school football coaching experience that you also assisted with as a volunteer coach, and I want to say I appreciate that service as well. I'm honored to be the superintendent of the White River School District. As I hope you've been able to hear tonight, it's a very, very special school district and a special community, and it begins with leadership, and I want to recognize we should have our board president, Denise Vogel, in the audience today. She served on the White River School District Board of Directors for 18 years and has been president of our board for 16 years. And along with Matt Shear, Karen Bunker, Cassie Pearson, and Jim Johnson, they provide the stability, the leadership, the vision for us to continue to serve our kids and our community. And I want to say thank you. I get to work with some amazing professionals, as you've seen. Cody, Mayor Mothershed of White River, he's an incredible leader. Amy Miller has done tremendous work over her time. She's been college and career readiness director for, I want to say, 9 years now. And at each stage in the journey, we continue to challenge what's that next step. And every time we set a goal, she blows right past it. And so the industry recognized credentials that we set a goal for last year. I think we set a goal for 12 and we're at 20. And that's just indicative of her leadership and what she brings to the table each day. And it's all about our students. Nathan, amazing. I'm glad I don't have to follow you, but I will say, I will say my hair color was the exact same as yours at one time. You wouldn't believe that. Audrey, you're amazing. And she came directly from a scholarship interview, so we're fingers crossed on that one for you as well. I want to touch base on something that you didn't hear, because White River is nationally recognized as a model PLC at Work district, and 4 of our schools, that's the majority of our schools, are model PLC at Work schools. And that's a very high honor, but it's indicative of our mission to ensure high levels of learning for each and every student, prepare them for success after high school. When you came into White River High School this evening, you passed by Mountain Meadow Elementary. That is the highest performing elementary school in Pierce County. White River School District has a 96% plus on-time graduation rate. That is the highest graduation rate of any district in Pierce County. There's more to that, though, because the work of ensuring learning doesn't just stop when the bell ends at the end of the day. And I want to share some numbers with you, because we talked a lot about mental health, addiction, wellness, community. So many of those things are not even possible without the work of our coaches, advisors, directors, principals, athletic trainers, and all the people that make our extracurricular activities and athletics possible, particularly in areas of Pierce County where there aren't a ton of options for kids after school and there aren't a ton of resources. I just want to share some numbers. Here at White River High School, we have just over 1,200 students. We have 470 plus students involved in clubs and activities, including Honor Society, Key Club, Future Leaders of Color, GSA, FFA, DECA, Skills USA, HOSA, the Native American Club, and FCCLA, just to name a few. We have over 300 students participating in our band, choir, and drama programs, and they perform in concerts, parades, athletic contests, stage productions, and music contests throughout the year. Collectively, we have over 800 student athletes who have participated in all 3 seasons of our high school athletic calendar. Our middle school is no different. We have over 475 students in our music and band programs at the middle school. We have 125 students that are in our chess club and our robotics club at the middle school, and a total of 885 student athletes who have participated in our sports season so far. Our elementary students, can't be left out. We have a community activities program here in the White River School District that serves thousands of kindergarten through first grade students each year in sports such as volleyball, basketball, soccer, flag football, wrestling, dance, karate, and more. For those that came a little bit early, you saw a little bit of milling around by our theater. That is the most recent production of the White River School District drama productions that serves kids all the way from elementary to high school age. I think that they're practicing for Wonder in Alice Land, yes, and that's correct, Wonder in Alice Land. They've also done productions of Elf, Annie, Grease, Wizard of Oz, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Hundreds of students every single year participate in these extracurricular programs. When we talk about community heroes, and it is a month where we celebrate our educators and have teacher appreciation events, we often don't recognize all the people that it takes to make these things happen for kids. The clubs, the activities, the athletics, everything that goes on, including tonight. If you're bored and you just want to spend an extra little time in Buckley, just walk out to the stadium, and we have a soccer game that just ended and a lacrosse game is going to start at 7 o'clock. Those would not be possible without our coaches, advisors, scorekeepers, bus drivers, schedulers, timers, starters, ticket takers, announcers, and our administrators are there every single day pulling double duty after their regular day ends to show up for kids, and I want to recognize them tonight. I also want to recognize our community. None of those are possible without local levy dollars. Every single opportunity that I just shared were made possible by the voters of this community, and that's consistent throughout Pierce County. People show up for kids in this county, and I want to recognize their contribution and the trust that they give to us to make a difference in our kids and our community. With that, I just want to say thank you again for your service, and welcome to White River.
Thank you, Dr. Harrison. Okay, well, moving right along, we have item number 6. And not that we save the best for last, but we have the food locker expansion program of the market. And I do believe Stacy is online. So with that, Stacy, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Am I going to hear my own echo? Yes. Good evening, everybody. Let me figure out how to not hear my own echo. Does anybody have a tip for that? Is that better? We good? Everybody can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we hear you?
Fabulous. All right. Sorry that I can't be there tonight, you guys. I wanted to so much. Members of the council, welcome to East Pierce. Thank you for all that you've done to support the market and our projects and the market fresh lockers that I'm going to tell you about. We have an epic story, and it feels like Pierce County Council holds pages on that. So thank you. You probably passed by the market, some of you, on the way out tonight. And on your way back, if you happen to pass it, what I would ask of you is to imagine what might have happened if it wasn't there. The market is one of those stories that kind of happens once in a blue moon, and it might not have been there. It's a beautiful building, but it also symbolizes great change. I often call it one part love letter and one part dare. I kind of dare you to drive by and not wonder what's going on in there. I often get asked to describe how change has happened at the market, and how I describe change in real time is that it's like a chemical reaction. It's difficult, it's chaotic, it takes an extreme amount of energy. There's a lot of opposing forces. It's messy. Change is messy. And that's why People say that it's so hard. There's a reason that you don't see radical change, especially in 50-year-old systems like food banking. There's also a reason that change makers are often described as disruptors. I'm talking about myself. Left to our own devices, we can bump into a lot of things. We create issues. The point of our entire existence is to create a reaction so that we can change the substance into something new, maybe more beautiful. But the process is a little messy to get there. But here's the cool part that I want to tell you guys about tonight that I haven't really got to talk about publicly, and why I wished I could have been there in person. Every once in a while, a disruptor like me meets a catalyst. And a catalyst comes in and they strategically increase the reaction rate. They start the chemical reaction for you. They become the multiplier. The catalyst never chemically changes themselves. They stay who they are. I'm describing Councilmember Morell right now, for those of you that don't know him or know how he has been involved in this project. So the statement that I just described is the best case scenario of how government, local government, county government can work within the communities they serve to create positive change. They can become a catalyst. I have great hope in this. When I announced that we were moving a social service out to a farm on the last Sunday of August in 2020, when my finger was hitting that post, hitting send on that, I knew as a disruptor that I was going to create a reaction. Within hours, I got a phone call from Councilmember Morell wanting to meet me out there. And like most disruptors, I assumed I was in big trouble. I was pleasantly surprised, however. I very quickly realized that there was a catalyst in front of me. And I told him about the project and what I thought it could be and how it would force people to look at something very hard quite differently and ask us different things about food and human beings and how we were doing things. I think all of you know how the story of the market goes. It's a force. It's a chemical reaction that just keeps multiplying all on its own now. It's a beautiful story. I'm fond of it. It's a project that serves 150 families a day, 5 days a week, a project that puts $500,000 of buying power right back into the local economy through the purchase of local foods. It's a project that's been created so that no child in our community will ever know they have been to a food bank. But like most disruptors' playbooks, mine has many pages. And so the following fall, when I met Councilmember Morell, I showed him a couple of those. And I didn't expect for him to point to the page that he pointed to, the one with the lockers on it. But he immediately said, turn that back. Because literally my playbook has pages, you guys. So he says, turn it back. That one. That's it. That could create change. And so he took the lockers and the concept of it in front of council for ARPA opportunity. And it took off. By October of 22, we had installed the lockers at the farm. And today we're 25 orders in to families locally. That's 25 orders where a dad didn't have to choose between feeding his family in this economy and keeping his car that he takes to work. He picks up groceries on his lunch break. 2,500 orders where a mom gets to bring home healthy foods for her kids and she doesn't have to share her struggle with anyone. All she has to do is shop online and she can pick up groceries after carpool. 2,500 orders where an older adult on a fixed income found a safety net that allowed them to keep their dignity after working hard their entire lives to feel secure in this season of life. But not all things go as planned. In 2,500 orders where a young adult trying to stay afloat and going to college doesn't have to eat ramen every day. They can have healthy food so their brain can function. It's a beautiful pilot. And with the success of it, we're now able to bring these lockers to communities all over East Pierce, in Bonnie Lake, Wilkeson, Carbonado, Ording. We'll continue to expand to create chemical reactions and positive change in these communities. In each community, there is a local government member that is a catalyst, just like Dave, that has walked beside us to create this positive change. We're operating these lockers as a managed service and working alongside other community services and food banks. We're not replacing anybody. We are becoming stronger together. So the future is bright. I'm a big believer in bright futures for our community. And I wanted to leave everyone tonight just with a little hint of maybe another page in our playbook. There's many stats around food insecurity that are dire and awful, and they're difficult to swallow. But there are a couple stats that recently, within these last couple years, have piqued my interest as a disruptor. Washington, as a state, is the 10th wealthiest in the nation. And yet we rank 34th in securing food. Conversely, Washington also produces 365 days a year and discards 40% of what we grow here in the state. So both of these statistics, while kind of grim, point to opportunity to me. Our next project will be a building that challenges those stats by harnessing the power of private business in reversing food waste through innovative programming and job creation and just beautiful community. Will it be on the farm? No, it won't be. It can't. It's too big. So it'll be a beautiful warehouse just down the street from the farm. You can see it right from 410 on your way out of town. There's 50 acres of cleared land. And I've met another catalyst who I believe is there tonight, Chris Lear of Peak 410. We formed a partnership, and he is going to help us reimagine what this might look like to change food security and create a more holistic food system here in East Pierce that can be modeled throughout the state and throughout the nation, we hope. We're going to dream big. That's the only way to go. And I just thank you so much for your support of our project and for being here tonight.
Well, I know that Stacy was heartbroken that she couldn't be here in person. We've kind of called her the Iron Lady for the last 3 years. She hasn't. She has probably hugged, held hands, nurtured so many people, and never got COVID until the other day, just after another in-district meeting that we had. I won't say whose, but we're blaming the poodle dog.
They have good food. That's so right out front.
Yes. So anyway, what can you say about Stacy? So I will leave it at that, and just thank her for the energy. And I think, as Dr. Harrison said, I have the privilege of representing a community of such great leaders, such great organizations, that it makes my job easy. I just let the leaders do what they need to do, and I sit back and kind of help chart paths, navigate the government bureaucracy that we have to deal with and they have to deal with. But all in all, I am just so grateful to be in this position. And to, have purpose and meaning in a life that before, I was just a commercial contractor, and enjoyed that life, and was ready to head to Palm Springs when some friends cornered me and said, "You got to do this." But it's been a great ride, and it's not over yet. But I just thank people, individuals that rise to the occasion like Stacy. So with that, I would like to also make mention of some of the folks that are here, because, like I said, it does take community to make things happen. And I'm just going to highlight a couple of folks. Mayor Carolyn Norris from the city of South Prairie. Ashley Murphy, on the city council person from Wilkeson. Brandon Green, I saw the city of Buckley council member. And then who else do I got here? I will start going through some of the names. I'm going to miss them. I always do. But as Stacy said, we have one individual here that I have been totally impressed with, and have learned to add to my conversations. My favorite Canadian friend, Chris Lear of Teeter, and Chris is and his family are making things happen on the Hill here, not only with the food bank, but early on when I came on, I met with Chris and talked about his vision on economic development up here on the plateau, that people could actually live, go to school, their kids can go to school, work, all in the same community, and they didn't have to commute to King County. Chris made it happen and continues to make it happen now with Peak 410 being built with partnership with the city of Bonnie Lake. We also have Deputy Mayor Carter here from Bonnie Lake. Thank you. And as it was said, former Mayor Bill Pugh is here. I always got to recognize Bill because he's my idol. So thank you, Bill. And then anything to get in his swim tub. I got to check that thing out. Yeah, okay. And then also it was mentioned that Jan Shabro's here. I had the privilege of taking her place. She used to be the council member for District 1, and thank you for making a way in this community way before I came along, but thank you. Carolyn Robertson Harding with the Buckley Chamber. Carolyn, thank you. Of course, I would never hear the end of it if I didn't introduce Marilee Hill Anderson. And she is Director of Community Engagement and Homeless Services for the Sumner Bonnie Lake School District. She is the one who I always go to if I need an idea on something. And she is just a great resource. And then Amy, Buckley Downtown Association, say hi. And then Matt, I met Matt the other day, great. Who else am I forgetting, Judy? Anybody else? Okay, I think I'm good. And then we have Jeremy Ohl with, I just met probably, 6 months ago, if that. Very rarely do I get a call from a major corporation that says, I want to help in our community. And Jeremy is the manager of the Lowe's up in Bonnie Lake, and hopefully you'll speak later. And but thanks for coming out. So with that, I don't know if there's, I think I've ID'd everyone in the room, which is a good thing. So with that, I'd like to then move on to Citizens Forum. Citizens Forum is a way that citizens can speak about anything that really wasn't on the agenda and address the council and the public. And since this is all about civic involvement, if anyone wants to step up to the podium, introduce themselves, and you have up to 3 minutes to state whatever you want to say within reason.
I'll be brave.
Okay, the icebreaker.
Here's the timer if you want it.
Thank you. Good evening. I just want to say, Nathan, way to go to support FFA. I'm a former FFA kid myself. Enumclaw High School.
Rule number 1.
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself. Who are you?
Carolyn Robertson Harding, Buckley Chamber of Commerce. On a personal note, I did want to say that my teacher, Danny Coyne, is an old Buckley kid for a long time, did a great job. I loved FFA. It was a great opportunity. Way to go, kiddo. Thank you for allowing us to have some time to speak to you. And thanks. I want to welcome everybody on the board to the Buckley community. We enjoy having you here. We love to see council here in our community. I really wanted to take a moment to thank that economic development team for putting together with Councilmember Morale and I'm sure others the Business Innovation Matching Grant Program. We're so excited about that and the opportunity for small communities like ours. Councilmember Morale came out personally to a city council meeting and let us know that this was coming. And we jumped at the opportunity. We had chamber members, including my boss, Josh, from Hosford Construction, running around on his truck, going to everywhere he could to let them know about this opportunity. It's my understanding from, I can't speak highly enough about Rob Allen. What a great team member for the economic development team. I called him one day and on a client that we have, Foothills Vet Hospital out here on 112th, called him and asked him a question. He called me right back, and when I answered the phone, I started laughing. And he's like, what's so funny? And I said, what's funny is that Pierce County staff always answers the phone. It is so awesome to work with you guys. Thank you. He answered my question, and it was great. It's my understanding 50 applications came in for that program, and 25 of them have a Buckley address. So I think, when you call Dave, we respond. We are there for you. I also want to say that we encourage people to come out, and if you haven't been to the Pierce County or this part of Pierce County or anywhere around here recently, obviously the exec's been out on his bike, but if you haven't been around, come out and check it out. We've got some new businesses being constructed on Highway 410. You'll see signs out there. We've got some new restaurants downtown. We have an ice cream shop now, and Anchor House Coffee is always great. Mama's Tacos, that I think some of you had tonight for dinner, is a great local story. They're on Main Street now as well. And then finally, on behalf of the board, I'd like to invite all of you to our next Chamber of Commerce meeting, which will be hosted at Maris Farms on June 20th at 5:30. And so we look forward to that and enjoying Maris Farms with all of you. And thank you again for your time.
Okay, anybody else? Come on. This is your chance.
Hello, my name is Jeremy Ohl, and I have the privilege of being part of the leadership at your local Bonnie Lake Lowe's. You know, when you hear the phrase county commission meeting, it kind of connotates the idea of maybe this might be a boring experience, but that has not been the case tonight. It's just been absolutely thunderful. Now, I know I'm in a room with educators and that is not a word, but sometimes fun and wonderful isn't enough. You've got to create words to describe the experience. You really should charge for tickets at the door. 2 shows nightly. It's been a very elevated experience tonight, from the entrance with the saxophone quartet, which was delightful. We have gentlemen in suits and ladies in dresses, and we are surrounded by books and name tags, and it's a very sophisticated event. And then you look up into the ceiling tile, and you see a very spirited paper plane darted into the ceiling. Now, that takes skill. I think our folks over at Boeing would want to know who was the Goodwill Hunting that accomplished that. It reminds us that the room is for students and children and their infinite creativity. I love it. I got a kick out of that all night. So at Lowe's, we are committed to making homes and hometowns better for everybody. Over the last 100 years, Lowe's has grown from a small-town hardware store in Northern Carolina to one of the largest home improvement retailers in the world. And the hallmark of our business strategy is putting the communities we serve at the heart of everything we do. And I'm very pleased to share with you tonight that our chairman and CEO, Marvin Ellison, along with our board of directors, have allocated $100 million to be disseminated among the communities where Lowe's has stores across the nation. Now, being new to Washington, only been here about a year, I didn't know where the greatest need was in the community. So when I reached out to Chairman Dave Morrell and Judy, I had a wide open door. They dropped everything to make time for a conversation with Lowe's and introduced us to the most significant and pronounced needs in the community. So I'm also pleased to share that just on Dave's recommendation, having not met the folks over here at White River due to some scheduling conflicts, just on his recommendation, we have submitted a $25,000 grant for the trades program here at White River. And it is my hope that this relationship will continue, and that is just a beginning, and that the conversations will continue, and we will have more opportunity. And I think it was Lee Iacocca that said, "Trouble shared is half the trouble," and it takes many people to converge, to come together for a greater good, and we're happy to be invited. We appreciate your hospitality, and we'll continue. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Amy Boucher. I have a stopwatch, so I'm not looking this way because I have a tendency to talk a little long. So it's starting now. All right. So Amy Boucher, Buckley Downtown Association. I live in Bonnie Lake. Our mission, if you're not sure what the Buckley Downtown Association is and what we do, our mission is to make downtown a place that businesses thrive, community gathers, all while preserving history and culture. And that we were given a grant by the state, Washington State Archaeological mind blank, DAP. Okay, and they did not extend that program. It was really coming out of the pandemic, trying to help kind of revitalize downtowns. And so we were fortunate to coordinate with the Main Street program. And across Washington, there's a lot of different Main Streets. In Pierce County, we have, I want to say, 3 or 4. And we started last year. We formed our nonprofit in January, and we have been hitting the ground running. We have a board of 6, and we have done a lot of different events and activities. We have a community game night that we started in January that has been really great, and I'll tell you a couple little stories. When you have Matt can tell the story so much better than I can. An age-challenged person who is very good at crib and has been playing cribbage for a very long time, and having an opponent of a 12-year-old, and that 12-year-old won the tournament for the intermediate slot, that was awesome. And then at that same event, another person was like, I met my neighbor that I've been living here for I don't know how long, and I was invited to my neighbor's birthday party who's turning 90. This is a place. So again, coming out of the pandemic, downtown revitalization, it's just so much more than, you're thinking about, okay, the local economy, but it really that entrepreneur ecosystem of really putting people at the center. And yes, capital is important, but people at the center and the capital comes. And then we work together to support each other financially. And then it just has this beautiful kind of thriving presence to it. Oh my gosh. Geez, I just want to say tonight, so we have one thing, we have cruises coming up, the May through October, the third Saturday of every month from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. There will be a cruise happening in Buckley. That is going to be huge for our businesses. It's going to be huge for our community to be able to gather. I actually just connected to the Saks guys while somebody was up here talking. They're going to, because we have this, again, we're not and then, so that's one thing. And then our next thing, hometown market. Can I squish over just a little bit? Please. Okay, so hometown market, it's going to be every Thursday in August, July and August, and from 4 to 8 p.m., and it's a market that is meeting community needs. We worked with the White River Partnership. There are 6 priority needs: transportation, mental health, food access, resources, community gathering, social gathering, and there's one other, resources, access to resources. And so those, okay. So come, because those guys are going to be on our open mic. So we're bringing arts and community resources. This is a place where we all come together and provide this really cool thing. So please come to Buckley on Thursday nights in July and August.
Thank you, Amy.
That's right. I don't know if I should say Chair Morrell or Chair Mello and members of the Pierce County Council. I'm Marilee Hill Anderson. I've met most of you. Director of Community Engagement and overseeing homeless services, McKinney-Vento and foster care services for our district. First of all, like many others, I want to thank you for coming out to Eastern Pierce County tonight. I am speaking tonight just to really give you a resounding thank you for all the programs you support that I work with and that we use to help families. And it's not often that I get to say we're neighbors to the west of something, but we're neighbors to the west of White River School District. We partner with them too for many things. You might pick up on the themes of partnerships here, though, because our boundaries in Sumner-Bonnie Lake School District bridge Districts 1 and 2 of the County Council. We bridge congressional districts 8 and 10. We serve Sumner and Bonnie Lake. If we don't know how to partner, we're in real trouble. And again, we love to partner with White River School District as well. We really appreciate working with Council members Morrell and Herrera as they seek to find ways to enhance out-of-school programs and family programs which really serve our children, youth, and families, including Council member Herrera's funding, partial funding of our back-to-school events. We have 4 of them. We served over 1,600 students with backpacks, school supplies, social service resources, food, and much more, and we couldn't do it without that kind of support. And Council member Morrell, not only do I offer you ideas on an occasional basis, actually more than an occasional basis. I do that because you listen. You are such a good listener, and it takes true leadership to reach out and to come into the community and say, hey, I don't know everything. Tell me what it's like with the families and the children that you are helping. So I can't thank you enough for that. And in fact, you helped connect us to Low. You help us connect to those community and corporate partnerships, which can really help us continue to affect change with our families and our students. And also for the council as a whole, I need to thank you for supporting the systems which strengthen our families, the family resource centers in Buckley and in Sumner. They serve both incorporated and unincorporated areas, but families throughout hundreds of square miles out here. And we truly are the resource hubs in this area. We couldn't do it without you and without your support. And we help those families in the best and the worst of times when they have teenagers that struggle to drive, or they have, or we have babies that need diapers, and everywhere in between. Thank you so much. And that would include the 225 homeless students that we're serving right now in the Sumner-Bonnie Lake School District. Those issues are not located only in the urban core of our county. So thank you so much. And I'm excited because my partner in crime, good crime, Liz Chick, is going to be up here in a second to talk about one of our newest partnership programs with White River and Puget Sound ESD, our Latinx Family Outreach and Advocacy Program. As you know, our demographics are shifting out here. Checking my time. Oh no, they are shifting dramatically, right? And I'll take 10 seconds to say, when I came here 31 years ago, we had 91% of our students that identified as white. Today, that number is 62%. We have shifted dramatically. We have to find ways and advocacy efforts to make sure that the voices of all of our families and students are centered in the decision-making process. And Liz is going to come up now and tell you a little bit more about how we do that. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Liz Chick. I work for Puget Sound Educational Service District. I'm the Director of Expanded Learning Programs. For 1 year, we have developed a program called Latinx Family Advocacy. And I want to say it's 100% funded, and I want to thank you, Council, for the support, as well as the Sumner-Bonnie Lake and White River School District, because we are 100% funded through Pierce County Youth Violence Prevention Fund, Tacoma Pierce County Health Department, the Family Support Partnership, as well as the White River Hometown Fund. So last year was 2022 was our first year, and our goal was to serve 400. We ended up serving 511 Latinx youth. And the numbers are divided by incorporated Sumner-Bonnie Lake was 143. Unincorporated Sumner-Bonnie Lake was 321. Incorporated White River School District, 24. Unincorporated White River School District, 23. So we are growing so quickly. And the services that we provide are resources, and it's not just like, here's some resources. We have to make sure that the resources are in Spanish, or that the agency that we are referring to have someone that speaks Spanish. If none of that is option, my family advocate personally takes them or meets them at the resource and provides that translation for them so that there's complete understanding. We address the Latinx youth educational needs. Going through Skyward. I don't know about you, I'm in the education, but like the Skyward, we provide those services for them so they can understand how to look up their child's grades or know what their teacher's names is. We are advocating between the home and school communication, so they're bridging that gap. We also provide one-on-one meetings with our youth and the parent as well. We provide monthly cultural and educational youth and family events. Last month was the celebration of Children's Day, and that's a Mexico celebration. And we partnered with White River Family Center, Sumner and Bonnie Lake Family Center, Ording Family Center, KBTC, which is the PBS program, and all of us together provided support in some ways. 20 families attended, and and that has doubled since January and March. It had been 10 families. Now we've doubled to 20. So it just keeps growing and growing, and we're not even into the year and a half of our program. What has organically happened with this year and a half is that parents have come to us and said, we would like to have a parent leadership group. So we're forming that opportunity for them to have a voice and provide the tools of how to develop that. We're supporting the Prairie Ridge Teen Program. as well as their summer program this summer, and inviting more, having Latinx youth feel more comfortable at Prairie Ridge. And we also know that college and career readiness is a huge need from the youth, and so we're providing those resources too, and how that it's like, if you're applying for colleges, isn't it like going back to school and figuring out what do they want, what are you going to take? We're providing that connection too. So, yeah, thank you.
Was not going to speak because I'm microphone adverse. At Town Council, we don't need microphones. My name is Ashley Murphy, and I am from the town of Wilkeson. I focus on community development and tourism, but it keeps growing to whatever the mayor wants me to participate in and our new ideas and things. We want to thank you all for coming to Buckley and also for coming to Wilkeson last year for your county council meeting. I was a White River kid. That's first and foremost. I was like, you're at White River, I'm coming. My kids are now coming through the district, so they're all the way up through. My husband's a Carbonado kid, and we actually met here. Didn't date here, but met here. So it means a lot, and it was hard to bring our kids back to where we were raised when we left California for work. But the last 2 years, being on the council has rooted me back here, and I found my purpose. I work in telecommunications. I'm a project manager, and so that's not very giving, but this allows me to give back, and it is my true joy to be with all of you and to be with the community and the kids. Thankfully, we've had a lot of change in Wilkeson in the last 2 years, and a lot of that is because of the Pierce County taking in the Carbon River Corridor Cooperative Action Plan, which a lot of people don't know what that even means, but I meet about it all the time because it's investing the money and the attention into the corridor. It's kind of a forgotten place, but it is well visited, and thankfully our businesses are thriving, and they have brought so much life and joy to so many people by being open, and Pierce County helped do that, which is major. I mean, we're just at the starting point of this, but it's just going to keep going. The other thing that we are doing in Wilkeson that I am very excited about is the locker program. We are a food desert, as is Carbonado, and sort of even South Prairie, because, a gas station is not providing you your daily needs. So to have the market coming to Wilkeson, hopefully the first one outside of, I'm just competitive, so I'd like to be the first outside of the lockers, outside the property, but we'll see. And that's actually spurred us using our community center within our fire station. Right now it has our residents because we partner with Buckley for all of our emergency services in Wilkeson. So it is going to allow us they're moving next door, they're not leaving. We're going to open the community center back up, and so we're looking to bring on funds, and I've been applying for grants and moving our community garden to the same space and a bus stop, and just have this big hub for the town, and it's central. And our biggest issue in town is parking. If you've ever been to Wilkeson on a busy weekend, now that we're up and coming, you're not going to find parking. So to provide parking and move people around and say, okay, the garden's over here, but if we're going to have a community meeting for the Booster Club, let's meet them over here so they can alleviate the parking issue downtown so the businesses can thrive. Just all this coordination of how do we make all of this work and everybody feel their needs are being met, not just the businesses, but the people that live there and then the people that want to visit. We want to everyone work together. So really happy to be here with you all, and just really happy with this CAP plan. I just had another meeting today, and I feel very invested, maybe a little too invested, because the people I work with, they don't live here in the corridor. So us that live out here, we feel deeply about it, because it's our chance to have you all see what we have to offer and take care of what we love so much. So thank you.
Well, I was going to comment, love the t-shirt. So, okay. Is there anybody else that would like to make a public comment? Going once, Going twice? No. Okay. Then we will open it up to anyone online. If anyone online wants to make a comment.
For anyone online wishing to speak, you can press the raise hand icon on Zoom or *9 on your telephone keypad. I'm not seeing any hands raised at this time.
We got something in common, Marty.
What?
There's no one online.
You said you'd be done in an hour.
We had to wait for you. Oh, okay. We're going to wrap this up. Before we do, I'll open it up to any comments that any of the council wants to make. Any closing comments? If not, then we'll accelerate it a little bit. But I would like to also acknowledge PCTV and their crew, and the ones you don't see that are in the truck. Yeah, doing that. And then also the Pierce County Sheriff's Department for coming out. And I did tell them this was kind of a rough crowd, so they were more than willing to come out and help. So anyway, and again, thank you for all coming out. It's a beautiful evening. You could have done multiple other things, and so I really appreciate you coming out and honoring us with your presence. So with that, stand adjourned. Thank you.